The Cardinals 84 and 57, and we just got word the Cardinals just went over 3.3 million tickets sold for this 2009 campaign. Absolutely amazing. You see the red caps, and those will be worn, of course, by the Cardinals normally at home, but also by the Atlanta Braves in remembrance of 9/11. Here's a look at the lineup for the Braves: Nate McLouth, Martin Prado, and Garrett Anderson, Brian McCann, Yanel Escobar, Adam LaRoche, Omar Infante, Ryan Church, and Jair Jurgens. And they will face Joel Pinheiro, our Marshall Wireless starter for the Cardinals, and he's looking for win number 15 tonight.
Well, he has an 8-game winning streak. You have two starting pitchers that really have quite a few losses, but it's not their fault. They just lack of run support has allowed Pinheiro to lose 9 games. He's 11-1 his last 12 starts.
Domino's first pitch of the game, a strike. This is the former Pirate Nate McLouth, who is hitting .263, 18 home runs. He's driven in 60. All-Star year ago. And the Braves, Jordan Schaefer was their opening day center fielder. Felt that could be a young superstar in the making. Well, he's not here, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike on McLouth. And with McCutchen and the different things that the Pirates are trying to do with their outfield, made McLouth, who has a very kind contract in baseball terms, made him expendable, and Atlanta pounced on the deal.
Well, he just signed that multi-year contract this spring. So at that time they had no intention of trading him, but felt like they could get a good offer. And McLouth recently has been the player that the Braves wanted to acquire. He missed almost 3 weeks with a hamstring injury, but he's hit .350 with 3 home runs and about 6 RBIs since his return, all in September.
Cubs won today 6-4. That means the Cardinals will win.
No doubt about it. The way it's been the last month plus.
In on the hands, tied him up, fouled it back, 1 ball to 2 strikes. The most consecutive days maintaining or extending a divisional lead. That means since 1969. The Cardinals have an active streak of 35. That's 9 best in the next. I mean, that's amazing, and it's something you rarely see in baseball. That's a foul ball.
And Tony right now is pushing his troops for the best record in baseball, and it seems like the Central and the East are pretty much wrapped up. You know who's going to win those, but anything is possible. But the West is getting very interesting, not only for the division, but also the wild card.
The Cardinals have won the first game of their last 15 series. And if you go back, that's since the acquisition of Matt Holliday, franchise's longest such streak in the modern era. Ooh, just missed. Longest previous to that of winning the first game of a series, 1964. They did it in 13 straight, but they're trying to make it 16 straight this evening. A swing and a miss by McLouth, and a strikeout. So it brings in Prado, Holliday, Rasmus, and Ludwig in the outfield. DeRosa, Ryan, Schumacher, and Pujols on the infield. Pinheiro and Molina the battery tonight. The defense presented by Auto Tire. Former Brave, there's Mark DeRosa.
Very popular with the remaining teammates that he had, primarily Chipper Jones, who is getting a night off, but will play the next 2 games of this series.
Here's a ground ball. Get used to that if he's on. Brendan Ryan, 2 away. Nice article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch today by Derek Gould, talking about Brendan Ryan, the Cardinals shortstop, this morning.
Well, he's been a good one, hasn't he? He's just very interesting in that clubhouse, but now that he's playing on an everyday basis and excelling offensively and defensively, it's Derek Gould, the author of that fine article. But he had a fun, interesting subject, Brendan Ryan.
Sure did. A lot of different directions you could go in talking about Brendan, but the idea of the article was that he's not, just a guy that comes off the bench anymore. He can be a productive, everyday player, and we have seen that in particular defensively.
And then, in talking about this ball club and how it's turned around, Brendan's a prime example.
There's a grounder that's fair. Pujols has got it. Pinheiro over at first. And a 1-2-3 top of the first. Cardinals coming up. Game 1 of their 9-game homestand. This weekend should be a good test for the Cardinals. They're going to see some very good pitching. Jair Jurgens going tonight for the Atlanta Braves, and this is a look at the lineup that he'll face. Schumacher, Ryan, and Pujols, and then Holiday, Ludwig, Rasmus, DeRosa, Molina, and Joel Pinheiro. Jair Jurgens, our Marshall Wireless starter, and a record of 10-10, but as Al pointed out, record could be much better if he got some run support. Been few and far between in his starts, and he's gotten any kind of support.
ERA under 3, 72% of the time he gives up 2 runs or less, and yet he's 10-10. He's an outstanding pitcher. Came over in the Renteria deal from Detroit, and he is a native of Curacao.
Andrew Jones,
right?
Curacao.
And Simon.
Yeah, there's another one. There's Skip Schumacher hitting .294.
They really like Jurgens, and one of the things, they think he's a very smart young man that put that together with pretty good stuff. They think he's going to be a winner.
And an 0-1 pitch to Schumacher, misses outside. Jurgens has allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 21 of his 29 starts. Only 23. As Schumacher puts it in play and hits it sharply to the third baseman. And the first out recorded. Let's take a look at the Atlanta Braves defensively. The former Angel Garrett Anderson is in left. Just saw Martin Prado over there third. Escobar, Infante, and LaRoche on the infield. Jurgens and McCann. The battery tonight, the Braves defense, presented by Auto Tire.
Tommy Cox had his third baseman well off the third base line, and that's why he was able to corral that ground ball on the left side.
Well, the Cardinals get Jurgens tonight, and then Hudson tomorrow, Javier Vasquez on Sunday. So they're going to see some very good pitching in this series. This may drop. A sliding catch made by Ryan Church. Nicely done.
Acquisition, they got Church. Bounced around now a few times, but a lot of people really like his ability. And you're right, pitching's not been a problem for Atlanta. Maybe Albert Pujols could be a problem for their pitching.
We see that approaching milestones, and the big one, the home runs. He's never had a 50 home run season, but he's closing in, and he's swinging one of the hottest bats in baseball. Those three Atlanta starters have a combined ERA of under 3, 2.97. So very, very tough this weekend. And the Cardinals facing a team that is above 500. They will do so on this homestand. That's why we have said this will be a good test for the Cardinals.
In the last month, they really have had a fairly easy schedule. But only one opponent was over 500. They took care of business against the Dodgers, but I think of the next 7 opponents, 3 or 4 of them have over 500 records.
Here's the 0-2 pitch inside to Albert Pujols. Huge crowd on this Friday night here at Busch Stadium. Glad you're with us on Fox Sports Midwest. Tomorrow's game is on Big Fox and Sunday on Channel 11.
Yet there are tickets available.
The call third strike on Pujols may have been a little bit low, and Albert doesn't like it. So a strikeout for the right-hander, and after 1, there's no score. To order. Now we also want to tell you about a special day for Lou Brock, and there's the great numbers on the great man, the Hall of Fame, over 3,000 hits, 938 steals for Lou Brock, and Monday, September 21st out at Forest Hills is a big day for Lou and a big charity that he has put his name to help out. Always great to see a Hall of Famer. How's it going?
Well, it's certainly nice to see you as well, Dan.
And you said you're only nice on Friday nights, so we've got you on this Friday night.
Yeah.
You're telling me you sat down and you said, I'm only nice on Friday nights.
You know, somewhere in my career, I had a knack early in my career hitting a home run every Friday night.
Is that right?
Yeah, and some fan called my attention to that. And after that, I wasn't able to hit an inning.
But you've got a big day coming up, and I know we're excited about it. And tell us a little bit about the charity that you're involved with.
Well, we're involved with ECHO Children's Home, and for the last 120 years, you know, ECHO has provided critical care for kids in need here in the city of St. Louis. And so I've been involved with them for 17 years with a golf tournament to raise funds.
And again, that is coming up Monday, September 21st at 12:30. The 17th annual Lou Brock Hall of Fame Golf Classic at Forest Hills. And let's get this number out right now. Sydney Moore is the contact, 314-922-7960. That's a leadoff base hit, by the way, for Brian McCann. Talk about the charity, Lou. How did you get involved?
Well, a few years ago, some 17 years ago, I was minding my own business, and I always had a heart for kids, and a lot of people in the community sort of knew about it. And they asked me to get involved. And it didn't take long. I went to the home and met kids who just stole your heart.
This could be trouble here as Ludwig is over. That'll bounce over the wall. And a ground rule double. So a ground rule double there. And that's Escobar. The first two have reached here in the second inning. It'll be second and third and nobody out. And this charity, 17 years, and I know in talking with you previous about this, that you've been able to raise thousands of dollars for this particular charity.
Yes, we have over time, and we're excited about it in as much as we're able to help a lot of kids who are in need, and the fans and the public and the community has come out and supported us, and we are proud of that, and I'd like to thank them for it. And we often say, can you do it one more time?
Yeah.
For the 17th year. That is Monday. Again, we are looking forward to people to play in a 5-man scramble. Now, if you don't play golf, that means that 5 people in one team scrambling around trying to hit a ball.
How's your golf game?
Well, it's improved. It's improved, but not as well as yours and some of the guys I do know, like Okendo.
Sure. Oh, he's pretty good. He's like scratch.
In addition to that, you know, we have my wife got something called my 70th birthday, Dan. This is the 4th time she has celebrated it. And we got a gala raising funds for Echo as well, which is this Thursday night. Not this Thursday night, but the 18th.
Okay.
The 17th, and be a fact. Ernie Verlio is coming in as my guest.
Is that right?
Yeah, so that should be, and the Cubs going to be in town.
Man.
So that'll be a good one.
Oh, that'll be great. Again, that's the 70th birthday gala at the Coronado Ballroom in St. Louis on Thursday, September 17th. That's at 6:30, and that's popped foul by Adam LaRoche. And Lou, I can't believe you're 70. I mean, you look like you should still be playing, Lou.
Well, oftentimes they say that when you really go out there and try it. I couldn't make it out there on a tricycle today.
Is that right?
Of course
You're
not.
always hopping around here. You're always busy around the ballpark.
Yeah, that's because I'm around Al all the time. So I look
so you're running away
agile.
from him.
Yeah. I look agile around Al. Yeah.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to LaRoche. And a swing and a miss and a big strikeout there for Pinheiro. While we have you in here, Lou, and we'll promote the golf tournament some more, but how about just your thoughts on this 2009 team after all the trades and the way that things have come together?
Well, you know, for the most part, pitching is the name of the game. The Cardinals really put together a pretty good pitching staff. They had it in spring training, and it didn't gel until late. Now it is working, and somehow when they are at their best, then the team sort of rally and get energized, and that's what is happening, folks.
Let me ask you, Chris Carpenter compared to Bob Gibson, you see some similarities?
They're tall. They can pitch, and they get guys out.
They do get guys out.
And they are fearless on the mound, and Bob may be more animated than Carpenter, but they both can go after a hitter, and that's what you like, and that's the common thing they have. I should say the thing they have in common, they're able to go after a hitter.
And that's what I mean. They both have that nasty streak, don't they?
Yeah, and somehow in there, you got to have a nasty streak to be good pitchers, and somewhere along the line, you got to have that out pitch. And when you don't, it's not working for you that night, guess what you got to do? Get another one, and they both have it.
Yeah, they do. Carpenter's had a remarkable season, and the comeback player of the year, no doubt.
I think Bob could beat him hitting, though. Carpenter hadn't shown me much for the bat.
I agree with you. Here's a chopper. Brendan Ryan thought about coming to the plate. He'll go to first, and no, they're going to say Pujols was off the bag. McCann scores, and it's 1-0 Atlanta. And no argument from Tony La Russa, no argument from Albert. So they're going to give an error to Pujols, and Brendan Ryan looked to have made the play, and Pujols was not on the bag. So runners at first and second, and the error will be charged to Albert. Let's take a look here. Thought about going home, goes to first, and Pujols, you can clearly see that right leg was not on the bag. That's a tough error. Ooh,
oh.
He's out. He's out. So now it brings in Infante. Excuse me, this is Church after Infante reaches on the air and Jurgens is on deck. Who's the guy that you're watching a lot of now, Lou, when you watch the Cardinals? Because I know you follow this very, very closely.
Well, of course, I see these guys at spring training, although our team is a little different now with Holiday around. And DeRosa, I hadn't seen much of him. But the team seemed to have gelled, and I sort of watched guys coming to bat after they put Pujols on. I mean, Pujols is an army by himself. And then can a guy rally behind him and have that killer instinct like a Holiday who gets the big hits?
Who does Pujols remind you of?
A lot of Willie Mays. Willie Mays was a line drive hitter. He launched his body out into the ball and really made great contact. Stan Musial also went forward on the front foot a great deal. So that's Willie Mays is the person.
And that is a double play. Wow. And Pinheiro may have been spiked. Lou, always great to see you.
Well, good to see you, and thanks so much.
You bet. Good luck with the tournament.
Thank you.
The great Lou Brock. It's 1-0. On the bag, and now watch his right ankle. Ouch.
Oh, yeah. I don't know which is better.
Ooh.
I think spikes might have been better, but look at him trying to keep it loose, not wanting to tighten up on him a little bit. That's something that I saw Tony sitting next to him. Now I understand totally why. I'd leave you with Lou Brock, and look at, I had nothing game until you guys took over.
And you can call Sidney Moore for Lou Brock's tournament again. That number 922-7960. 922-7960. The 17th annual Lou Brock Hall of Fame Golf Classic, and that'll be held September 21st, 12:30 at Forest Hills Country Club. Always nice to have the Hall of Famer up here, Lou Brock.
And did you wish him happy birthday?
Well, we talked about his gala.
Yeah. He said he's celebrated his birthday 3 times.
And the gala will be number 4, he said. He said, my wife has had every kind of celebration you can imagine. Holiday, left center. And a base hit. Garrett Anderson over. Holiday's thinking two, and he'll be in there.
Garrett kicked it, and that guaranteed that he'd be in there with a double.
He was hustling out of the box, and Anderson was a little nonchalant trying to get over there, wasn't he?
Well, you know, he's had some injuries with his lower legs and back, and so it may be a little trouble bending over there. But Holiday always hustles, and the difference here, by hustling out of there, he gets a double instead of a single or an error.
So the Cardinals have the tying run in scoring position. Ryan Ludwig hit .385 on the most recent road trip. Hit 10 hits, 5 coming in one game. Overall at .274.
And you remember that game, he also had 5 RBIs in his 5-for-5 game. We'd love to see him pick up another one right here. Amongst the league leaders, you know, in outfielders with his 87 RBIs.
Well, you wonder where the Braves would be if they could get some offense. They have the 3rd best ERA in the major leagues, behind only the Cardinals in San Francisco. Their bullpen back in with Gonzalez and Soriano. We were talking to their broadcast team. Has been pretty good for Bobby Cox.
Maybe wearing out a little bit.
Base hit. Holiday is going to be held up at third as he initially just waited a little bit to make sure that that wasn't caught. And it's first and third with nobody out.
Holiday discussing it with Oquendo. Play to his back as Holiday wanted to race home, did the right thing, and then got the stop sign and pulled up at third with nobody out. Runners at the corners. Yeah, this game means an awful lot to Kobe as he grew up right in the shadows of Atlanta. So he would have to grow up as a Atlanta Brave fan, and then he has a brother that signed with Atlanta.
Actually threw a no-hitter in their minor league system.
It's pretty good.
John Smoltz was visiting with some of his former teammates and some of the media from Atlanta before the game on the field. Mark DeRosa doing the same.
Now, John told me it's not that big a deal because he's already seen Atlanta as a member of the Boston Red Sox, home and away. So a lot of that for the first time is out of the way. And you're still disappointed he's not pitching this series.
Along with, I'm sure, many fans. That would have been fun to see. 0-2 pitch.
And I think John this time, because he feels like he's can better equate himself and pitch a better game and more of an indication of what he has left in the tank than when he earlier coming back from the shoulder surgery and trying to get acclimated pitching with Boston.
And a 1-2 pitch to Colby. Struck him out. Second strikeout for this right-hander tonight. Visit the official online shop of the Cardinals, STLCardinals.com. The largest selection of postseason caps, t-shirts, jerseys, and more. STLCardinals.com.
Rosa had some back issues on the most recent road trip. Gave it a little time for that wrist to heal up, but he hit over 400 when he did play on the trip.
So one out, runners at the corners from Mark DeRosa. We've seen more teams lately have been trying to go inside on DeRosa, really bust him in. Maybe it's a byproduct of that sore wrist.
It's always my belief that when you advanced scout would tell you something about a guy's hand is that's where you wanted to pitch him, jam him, and then those breaking balls away where it really kind of bothers him to swing, especially when you don't make contact.
No balls and a strike.
But it all starts coming in.
In many ways, the Braves feel that you see what he's done against Atlanta's career, that Jurgens has wound up being a steal. As you talked about earlier, Edgar Renteria was part of that deal. Went to Detroit and they picked up this young right-hander. And Renteria really didn't play all that well wearing the Atlanta Braves, or rather the Detroit Tigers uniform. Hit .270 and had a .317 on base percentage.
Always seemed like he's more of a National League player. In the National League, his numbers are so much gaudier than they were in the American League.
And a 1-1.
Jurgens, you know, he can throw 95, but he also has a great feel for his changeup.
Cardinals here at home, 43-26. One of the best records in baseball. Their home ballpark. And that's on the inside corner, and DeRosa called out on strikes, and Jurgens has come back with 2 strikeouts after allowing 2 base hits.
Got the call away. Now they try to come back in on him.
And it's our Exmo Cam presented by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill, 1 block south of the ballpark on Broadway. Molina hitting .284, 5 homers, 47 driven in.
Been a while since he's hit a home run, hasn't he? I might get the half century with a long ball here.
First and third with 2 outs. Went up and in on Yachty, and that's a strike.
Yachty will have a conversation with Greg Gibson, tomorrow's home plate umpire, about that one.
Key game tonight coming up on the West Coast, Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Dodgers only have now a 2-game lead over Colorado.
And they lead San Francisco by 6.5. A couple ways to look at it. If you're San Francisco, you try to get back in the division with a sweep, or Colorado drops out of the lead and all of a sudden you're really close to them in the wild card. Either way.
Close to the Dodgers in the wild card. I know you don't want any part of San Francisco Giants.
Not in a short series. Lincecum and Kane, that would worry you a little bit.
I got news for you. Whoever you play, it's going to be a pretty tough opponent.
Yeah.
So respect everybody. And Tony will say we're getting way ahead of ourselves as Cardinals haven't wrapped up their division yet.
And that's a strike. Yeah, Tony can say that. We can also sit up here and talk about magic numbers and when they might clinch.
It's the fun.
Absolutely. So 3-2. Ludwig will run with the pitch. And standing over at third is Holiday.
Play behind him, give yourself a better defense position because you can't stop him from running.
Big gap in the left center. Molina hits it to the right side. LaRoche is there. No step on the bag, and the Cardinals waste a golden opportunity here in the second. Budweiser, the official beer of Thirst Inning. Now let's check out the crowd through the Thirst Inning fan cam, enjoying the game. And a cold Budweiser, starting with the lucky fans in the Budweiser Thirst Row. Folks having a good time. That's the Budweiser Thirst Inning fan cam. And that pitch is taken low by Jurgens, the pitcher tonight. And here we go in the top of the third. It's 1-0 Atlanta. It was odd to see that Pujols, he picked up the air and yet his foot was off the bag. On that play that Brendan Ryan thought about going home and then came back to first.
Well, the reason he picked up the air because the throw was in plenty of time. Then he had to step on the bag, and it looked like the umpire blew the call.
He did.
I thought he still got it down, but
yes,
you couldn't penalize Brendan Ryan because the throw was right there, chest high.
And when I'm saying odd, though, that he wasn't on the bag.
Yeah, especially after our explanation in Milwaukee for what he was doing.
And Pujols can't come up with that one. And that's his second error of the night.
And you know, Albert is really made a lot of errors early in the season, but with the 2 tonight, now up to 11. And why he tried to barehand it, I don't know. He had plenty of time, but just use the glove and then just get in the way. It's the pitcher running. He didn't look it into his palm and tried to tag before he really had the handle.
So Jurgens aboard, and now McLeod with the runner at first base. And a double play. Schumacher, Brendan Ryan, double play for 6-3.
Talked about in our open with Pinheiro on the mound that these middle infielders are going to get a lot of work. This ball was really hit hard, and that's the only way they could turn to with McLeod. Shu had a little trouble getting it out. The shovel pass over to Brendan Ryan. A strong throw. Gets the double play. And look at that athletic pitcher going after the pivot man, trying to take him out. Good, clean, hard baseball.
So quickly 2 outs, and now it's Prado. And the first pitch taken for a strike with 2 outs and nobody on. Backs away from that breaking ball, and Prado grounded out to short his first time up.
Every time Albert is involved with an error, they turn the double play right behind it.
Hit in the air to right field, backing up Ludwig to make the catch. Joel Pinheiro leads it off in the bottom of the third when we return. Visit Kia.com. And by the Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the loosest slots. It's Tim McClellan, the crew chief, over to visit with Bobby Cox. And Tim was just talking with Tony La Russa.
Well, the only thing I can surmise is firstly Greg Gibson, excuse me, not Greg Gibson, but our home plate umpire, which is Andy Fletcher, went to talk to McClellan, and they're pointing down the right field corner. Whether the only thing that's a little different, how many games we played here, never seen the discussion, but the shrubbery right around the foul pole has grown to the point where they may be talking about that. I have a hard time determining whether the ball is fair or foul right at the base of the foul pole. That's the only thing I can think of. And if you look a little bit, you know, a little bit right of there is just, it's more shrubbery. There you kind of get a look at it as on the right there, maybe a little bit right there determining whether it's fair or foul. But that's pretty very observant, isn't it?
Hungo, that might be a reach. I don't know
what are you thinking down there in the corner?
I don't know.
I mean, how many games we played here? We've never seen that discussion with the ground rules.
No. A strikeout of
hey, go with it. Go with the flow.
I'm going with it. I'll take your word for it. So that's 4 strikeouts, first time through the lineup for this right-hander, and we're back to the top. It's Skip Schumacher. See on that left forearm a little abrasion after that double play. 1-0 pitch to Skip, reaches for it, and a ground ball hit to second. Cardinals in Major League Baseball have announced a new charity program called MLB and Players Give Back. The team will be giving 2 free tickets to active and retired military, police, and firefighters and EMS for the 3-game series with the Marlins. That'll start on Monday. Eligible fans, all you have to do is show up, valid ID at the gate, and that's gate 1 of Busch Stadium, beginning 2 hours prior to the game. And if you'd like more details on that, visit STOCardinals.com, or the number to call, as always, area code 314-345-9500. That's great.
And the teams will make at least 4,000 tickets available for each of the 3 upcoming games against the Florida Marlins. Monday, Tuesday, and then 1:15 start on Wednesday.
Brendan Ryan fly to right his first time up. 2 outs and nobody on. Of course, there was a moment of silence as we honor those from 9/11, and we think about the poem that was read that night as baseball came back after 9/11 by Jack Buck.
A 3-0 here to Brendan right in front of Albert Pujols.
And a 3-0 pitch now to Brendan Ryan.
Mention that Jurgens is they feel is very highly intelligent, and it's amazing these kids that come from Curacao. They speak about 4 different languages.
And that's a walk to bring up Pujols. Not what he wanted to do there. 2-out walk to Brendan Ryan. Now Pujols digs in. He struck out looking his first time up.
It seemed like he was very happy with the home plate umpires. The call looked like it was over the plate but down. So this time Albert maybe looking for a pitch he likes a little bit sooner in the count. Great numbers by Albert, looking for his 3rd MVP and 2nd consecutive. I brought up the point too, Dan, on the road trip that, you know, early in his career he was contending with Barry Bonds, and easily he may be looking for his 5th or 6th MVP without Barry's years. Sometimes those numbers were superior.
And the ball scoots away. Ryan on his way to second base.
How about that? And Jurgens slipped as he went to retrieve the ball. Dave McKay, I'm sure, was yelling and communicating that LaRoche did not have the ball.
Well, that was an odd play, huh?
I don't know if I like it, though.
Now first base is open.
Yeah. LaRoche kind of standing there thinking he's got the play, and you see McKay gets in there, and I think LaRoche didn't realize the ball had gotten away from him. But now I'm not too sure I like it where they can pitch around Albert. But what a difference Holiday makes.
That's right. When we first saw Atlanta, no question what would happen. But now things have changed.
If they're trying to figure out who to give that error on.
So 2 outs, and Pujols on the first pitch pops it up. LaRoche over, foul territory, and makes the catch. And Albert is 0 for 2 on this Friday night. Jay Nixon will be our guest when we come back. With the AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Garrett Anderson leads it off and takes a ball up and in from Joel Pinheiro. Top of the 4th, 1-0 Braves on this Friday night. And Governor Jay Nixon has been kind enough to stop on by. And as we found out earlier this year, you're one of the biggest Cardinal fans going around, aren't you?
I really do enjoy Cardinals, especially when they're playing as well. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, you'll be back here, I'm assuming, for postseason play. You'll make sure to make a visit here to St. Louis.
I can guarantee it. I may sit out there in the bleachers where I can actually watch the game.
But, you know, people that listen to the games or watch the games, they saw you and Adam Wainwright and the striking out tobacco campaign. And where does that stand right now?
Pretty amazing. I mean, we've had thousands and thousands of more folks call our quit line, up 17.6% because of the ads. We want to thank Fox for all their great help, and the Cardinals. Literally thousands of people are quitting smoking.
And there's a swing and a miss by Garrett Anderson, and a strikeout for Pinheiro. His third, and Jay Nixon, of course, you had the opportunity to throw out the first pitch, and this is something that we saw not too long ago. And there's you and Adam Wainwright, and that's good movement on that slider.
I think you should throw the second one. I mean, you get 4 balls. I threw it nearer on the second one.
So you're just getting loose here, right?
Adam is a fine gentleman.
Then he moved over there. Now he's behind home plate. There it was.
There we go.
Were you nervous?
No, it was just bad.
That's it. Okay. Well, at least you're honest.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. I like it. You know, you're honest about that. That's good. Now, this was a big day, obviously, as Major League Baseball, the rest of our country, we honor those involved with 9/11, and we saw young men and women being sworn in earlier tonight. That is always something that I think that tugs at people emotionally.
Yeah, today at the Capitol we had a remembrance ceremony, literally tears coming to people's eyes. They remembered 8 years ago, and seeing these young men and women line up to put themselves in harm's way tonight is just yet another great example of how this war is not over, and our backing up of these folks is vitally important.
And Governor, I'll be part of the Missouri football game tomorrow. My initial question to you, I said, well, I'm going to see you tomorrow. I thought you were going to be with us on the broadcast, but you've got a few more important things to take care of.
Well, we've got some folks that are deploying, and we've got some folks that are getting promoted tomorrow, and so we'll be working with the military folks as they leave their families to head off to Afghanistan and Iraq.
Absolutely. That's much more important to be there, and hopefully later in the night we can catch you and you come on by the booth and say hello.
Well, I hope to get there in time to be able to do that. I can guarantee you we're not going to schedule any deployment ceremonies when we play Nebraska 4 weeks from now.
Well, you bleed Cardinal red, and you bleed black and gold. Yes?
Clearly so. It's a little dangerous for me when I go to Kansas City sometimes.
I was going to say, what happens in the I-70 series?
Well, I mean,
are you come out and you just say, hey, I'm a Cardinal fan?
Well, I actually do tell the truth about that. I am a Cardinal fan. The other day, giving the Governor's Cup trophy, at least the Rams won. I was in a situation there. My dad was standing right behind me with a Rams shirt on. It would have been a difficult picture for the Kansas City papers.
Sure. Before we let you go, tell us again, was Striking Out Tobacco where people could call or go online to find out more information?
Yeah, dial 1-800-QUIT-NOW for adults, and for kids, they just need to follow Adam Wainwright's lead. He's tobacco free. He doesn't dip. He doesn't smoke. And look at what he's doing. He's going to be a Cy Young Award guy this year, either him or Carpenter, and it's that kind of leadership that these kids need to follow.
Governor, great to see you.
Thanks, Dan.
You bet. Thank you. Governor Jay Nixon, and it's 2-2. The count here on Brian McCann after Anderson was retired, and that's taken just a little bit low. And here comes a 3-2 pitch to the catcher of the Braves. A rare walk there by Pinheiro. Pitch looked to be pretty good. That brings in Escobar. That's the first walk allowed by Pinheiro. Yanel Escobar doubled back in the second. And Molina's had a word or two for a home plate umpire before Escobar finally digs in. Here comes a 1-0 pitch inside. We saw earlier where Pinheiro turned his ankle, but that has not been an issue thus far tonight. The 2-0 pitch to Escobar. Tapped foul. Braves picked up their run early in this game. The top of the second. And scoring that run was McCann. He's the runner at first base. 2-1 the count. Mentioned the Cubs already won today, and the Cardinals have a lead over Chicago as we play right now of 11 games. Could be 11.5 before the night is through. The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball left side. Cardinals have turned one, double play. Make it two. Nice turn by Schumacher. Matt Holliday leads it off when we come back. Holiday leads it off for the Cardinals. Holiday doubled, then was left stranded. There was a base hit by Ludwig right after Holiday doubled, and Jose Oquendo held him up. In retrospect, you wish you would have sent him and had a play at the plate because the Cardinals couldn't score.
Yeah, I really thought that, more times than not, Oquendo was going to be extremely aggressive. But, with nobody out, runners at first and third, it made some sense. But as you said, in retrospect, I would have sent him.
Oh, yeah.
You agree with me, though? And Jose's been out there for close to it's been a decade plus, hasn't it? Been out there the entire time with Tony. Like that's right, because he first had Dr. Kevorkian.
Right. You better explain that.
That's Jack Buck.
Before
Tommy
we just
Reynolds.
let that one sit out there.
It was Tommy Reynolds who first was Tony La Russa's third base coach, and one time I'm at a banquet and Jack Buck described him as Dr. Kevorkian. He killed more runners at third base or at home plate than Dr. Kevorkian.
Now only Jack could get away with something like that.
And then we had Latchman, Rene Latchman, and
right.
So Ozzy's been there about 10 years, close to that, and I think he's been the best third base coach we've seen in a long, long time.
Here's a 1-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss. And Holiday is saying that
he didn't get
the ground.
Yes, and first base umpire agreed with him. Now the catcher will say no. Greg Gibson, as Holiday immediately said that ball hit the ground, and to the umpire's credit, now Bobby Cox will come out, and
anytime he comes out, he may get ejected.
Potential. As Greg Gibson immediately said, hey, that ball did hit the dirt, and he has a good view of it. And to the home plate umpire's credit, he asked for help, and that's what it should be all about, is getting the call right. Now, we haven't determined yet whether the call is right, but at least the attempt is there.
Does Bobby Cox come back in 2010 for the Atlanta Braves? Ooh, Cardinals.
Sure didn't look like it, did it?
No, may have gotten away with one, but you know Bobby Cox fairly well, Al. What's your gut feeling? Does he come back?
I talked to some people around the Braves about that fact, and they said a year ago at this time they knew Bobby was coming back. Kind of got rejuvenated with a lot of the young players. And this year they're not quite sure.
There's a strikeout. That's 5 tonight for Jurgens. Never wanted to be on the field and in the dugout before a Cardinals game. You can bid today to participate in a pregame VIP on-field experience before the Cardinals-Cubs game on Friday, September 18th. Bid today on this exclusive experience at stlcardinals.com/auction.
Tony's the third winningest manager in Major League history. Bobby Cox right behind him at number 4.
Ludwig 1 for 1 with a base hit.
We knew that this young man was quite a pitcher, and I think now you can see why they're so excited about him. But how long will he last in this game?
That's off his foot.
Up on the shin, above the ankle.
Greg Houck, the assistant trainer for the Cardinals, is out. Checks on Ludwig.
The only thing you do is put a little freezing agent on it as you watch, as he just grounds it right above the ankle. Your eyes are watering, it's still stinging, and you're hoping you don't get another sinker to do the same thing right again.
You almost have to expect it, though, don't you?
Yeah, well, you sure you do.
0-2. And a strikeout. 6 tonight for Jurgens. Got Ludwig to chase a ball here.
Sometimes you aren't so anxious to swing, push the ball down there. You know if you make contact, it's going to hurt again.
And it's up to Colby with 2 outs and nobody on. 1-0 Braves here in the 4th. on the corner. This guy looks nasty tonight, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And he's been pitching this way. We said 72% of his games this year, and he's allowed 2 runs or less.
Well, 10 of the Redbirds' past 11 series have been against teams that are below 500. The next 7 series starting tonight, Cardinals facing teams above 500. They'll see 4 of them. So things will change a little bit. I think you do get a little bit better idea of where you stand too.
Sure, but it sure was, you had to take advantage of the soft schedule, and the Cardinals did do so. So there's what you see. The last 7 series, only one team, that was the Dodgers, was above 500, and they won that series. But the next 7, 4 teams above 500, and that'll be a better test.
2-2.
It's this homestand, you know. With the Atlanta for this weekend, and Florida Marlins come in there. They're still trying to fight for the wild card. And then you close it out with that team up north of here. What's their names?
The Cubs.
Oh, the Cubs.
The Cubs will be here. In the dirt, 3-2. So many times you talk about a pitcher going in and out. Tonight we've seen Jurgens go up and down.
Well, just like changing the eye, but there you see a little doctrine of the shin of Ludwig, inside part of the leg. But if you can go up and down, you change that eye angle.
Gets him to reach there on an outside low pitch, and a race to the bag, and they got him. So they tend to Ludwig inside that dugout, and it's 1-0 after 4. And Chipper Jones, of course, longtime Brave, and he's been one of the constants over there, along with Bobby Cox, and for so many years, John Smoltz.
I always love to watch Chipper play, but he has really struggled of late, and a lot of little nagging injuries starting to creep up year after year, and last few weeks have not been kind to Chipper.
And a strike to LaRoche, and there is John Smoltz.
John Smoltz was a little bit upset when the Atlanta Braves included Wainwright in that deal, the J.D. Drew deal. And I remember, you know, that was a trade that at the time was helpful to the Cardinals and to Atlanta. And John Schuerholz saying, yeah, a lot of people give me a lot of credit, so that was a trade that's going to help, but we'll see what they think if I'm not able to re-sign J.D. Drew. That was the case, and it became definitely one-sided.
Strikeout for Pinheiro, and that's his 4th of the night. Eli Marrero part of that deal, Ray King, and Jason Marquis. Exmo Camp presented by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill.
See, just know what LaRoche is doing, but both first basemen in this game have really had tough starts.
Now, in that debut, it was against the Mets. Matt Morris started for the Cardinals. Cal Eldred is now working with us. He also pitched, and then Wainwright, 3 earned runs in 1 inning of work. And also Braden Looper was pitching for the Mets at that time in 2005, and then both were huge parts of 2006 in winning the World Series.
It might not have been the best debut, but he sure made up for it the next year, what he did in postseason.
He was telling me the other day that MLB had 06 postseason run of the Cardinals on MLB Network, and he said, I still can't believe that's me out there pitching. He said, I watch it and I still get nervous. That is a perfect bunt by Omar Infante, and he'll reach with 1 out. Couldn't place it any better.
No. Far enough away from Pinheiro, who's an excellent fielder. Deadens it enough to where down the line to where DeRosa has no play at all.
Brings in Church, who grounded into a double play. First time up. That was back in the 2nd inning, and that was that odd finish of the inning, the top of the 2nd, when Pinheiro rolled his ankle.
Cardinals have already turned 3 double plays tonight. Can they make it a 4th?
In the air, out to left field. Holiday over. Makes the catch near the line. Come watch the Cardinals and the Braves tomorrow and receive an all-star pennant featuring your 09 Cardinals All-Stars. Pujols, Franklin, Molina, and manager Tony La Russa. All kids 15 and younger receive the pennant courtesy of Coca-Cola and the Pasta House. And for tickets, visit STLCardinals.com. And as Al told you, there's still good seats available. Jurgens reached on an error his first time up. Pujols is committed 2.
Pujols committed 2, and he struck out and then popped up in foul territory to first base, and Roach has struck out twice.
At the knees and a strike. Again, we want to remind folks that the Missouri football game tomorrow available only on pay-per-view. $29.95. Contact your local cable or satellite provider. Mizzou and Bowling Green tomorrow at 6. $29.95.
Now, you working that game?
I'll be with Corby Jones.
Oh, well, then I'm signing up.
Sign him up. Of course, I think the Ballpark Saloon should purchase that. Nice way to get back to Fox and make sure that you support the black and gold.
Yeah, and give me your credit card.
And that is a strikeout of Jurgens. So 2 in the inning and 5 on the night. DeRosa, Molina, and Pinheiro coming up. From the Aqua Bar at Lumiere Place Casino, player interviews, Tony La Russa and Pat Parrison record and break down the game. U.S. Cellular, Cardinals live after the game, only here on Fox Sports Midwest. 1-0 Atlanta as we move to the bottom of the fifth here in St. Louis. 7-8-9 for the Cardinals. DeRosa, Molina, and Pinheiro. For those that have just joined us tonight, this young man has been the star so far as he has struck out 6, and the Cardinals only have 2 base hits. Bottom of 5 rolls in, and the first pitch to DeRosa. In the air, left center. McLeod under it to make the catch.
Well, breaking ball and got a little more on the handle rather than out on the sweet part of the bat.
Pitch down only at 52 for Jurgens. Mentioned the run support being a problem for this right-hander as Molina digs in. He's only had 23 runs of support in his last 8 starts, and 14 of the 23 came in one game.
One game, right.
So again, that record should be much better than 500. 2-0.
I wonder if Pinheiro's ankle is starting to swell up or give him some problems if Dave Duncan just went to the bullpen phone.
And a base hit for Yadier Molina, and it brings in Pinheiro.
That's a bit odd, though, isn't it? If he's going to bunt, but still, I would almost, to the point, if he has to come out of this game, I wouldn't want him running or anything else.
That's the point. That's right. And really looked kind of nasty. We had it in slow motion there. He turned his ankle pretty well there.
There's nobody is warming up for the Cardinals.
But immediately after Dave Duncan went to the phone, you could start to see him scurry a little bit out there, and stretch and get loose.
Now we'll see if somebody's going to start throwing. No really urgency. Is this Wellemeyer?
He would be considered one of your long men.
Got a bunch of them, Nolan.
Thompson, Wellemeyer,
Hawksworth. Loesch is making the start tomorrow, so he's out of the bullpen.
And Pinheiro gets the bunt down. He's jogging towards first. The sacrifice is good. This is in on his hands, it looked like.
Right, and the ball up, so he does a real nice job of getting the proper angle to where it goes down. Instead of, that's a pitch that you pop up many times, but does a nice job of getting the bunt down, and I think they're going to go to the bullpen right now. I think that was what Dave just said. I hope they gave a little time for Wellemeyer to warm up. He doesn't seem to be in any great hurry.
And if Pinheiro was going to come out, wouldn't you think he'd go back to the clubhouse and get treatment immediately?
And you know, they're going to use these guys a little more conservatively. So it may just be the fact that you're going to pitch 5. They're going to stay with a 5-man rotation, even with a lot of the off days. But I think in many ways you would have thought that they would try and go at least 6 and then get them out of there. So that may be the case, saying, look, go back out there, this will be your final inning of work. If that's the case, let's get him off the hook and hopefully get him another victory.
And that is taken outside by Schumacher.
Cardinals could have gone through basically a 4-man rotation with an off day every week, and they elected to be a little conservative. So what they're going to do is stay with a 5-man rotation. Boggs has been moved to the bullpen. There's another guy, and Loesch will assume his role as he came off the disabled list. Did make a one-inning appearance the other day in Milwaukee and looked sharp.
3-1 the count. Skip 0 for 2 tonight. Grounded out to third, also grounded to second. Runner at second base is Molina, and a gap into right center. And he walked him. 2 walks handed out by Jurgens. Go inside the Big Ten Conference and football 4 nights a week with 4 unique shows on the Big Ten Football 4-Pack. Their experts bring you game plan breakdowns, interviews, and analysis you won't find anywhere else. Catch the Big Ten Football 4-Pack every Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern. Only on the Big Ten Network, the only cure for gridiron deficiency.
Another key at bat here for Brendan Ryan with 2 outs, 2 men on. Maybe he can tie this game, but more importantly, if you can just extend the inning to Albert with the bases loaded, and we know what he's done.
Up there swinging away, and the first pitch fouled back. Decision for Tony La Russa, and a lot of it depends on the numbers, the matchups, and who the Cardinals might play. But you know, where you want to position Brendan Ryan in this lineup. Do you like him in the second spot, hitting in front of Albert Pujols, or do you drop him down to 7 or 8, which we've seen him there? And he guides it into right field. That'll be caught. Should be, and it is. Pujols left standing on deck. 1-0 after 5. One for yourself today, only at McDonald's. So here's Pinheiro in the 6th inning. It's 1-0 Atlanta. And he gets the top of the lineup. McLeod, Prado, and Anderson.
Wellemeyer continue to throw. I think that's just the case, and we'll look for this to be the norm now.
This is slicing Holiday over, and he'll make the catch.
These guys are probably the starters going to be going about 6 innings, and that's what be their workload.
So it's our Cabot Woodstein legendary performance. With 1 out, nobody on this date back in 1918, the earliest conclusion of the Fall Classic, the Red Sox beat the Cubs 2-1 to win the series in 5 games. Cubs lost. That's our Cabot Woodstein legendary performance. Here's Martin Prado with 1 out. DeRosa even with the bag at third. First pitch is strike. Pitchers duel here tonight. 3 hits aside. Both teams have committed an error. As a matter of fact, the Cardinals have committed 2, both by Albert Pujols. In the air, shallow center. Ryan going out, but this will be Colby. Pitches by inning, 65 total for Pinheiro.
If he can get through 6 innings here, right around 70 pitches, you think he'll, Dave Duncan's mind, that'll be a nice little tune-up as he tries to keep these guys strong but also fresh for postseason.
Ed and Eunice Fuchs, their 60th anniversary. Ed worked for the Cardinals for 26 years. Retired as operations manager. They're moving to Memphis to be with their kids, Janet, Joan, and Tom. 60th anniversary for Ed and Eunice. Two outs, nobody on for Garrett Anderson.
Here in Atlanta, the longtime Angel is on the disabled list, and he's been swinging a hot bat lately. Very good player, really good friend of Jim Edmonds. They're teammates.
And he's about as smooth as they come.
Yeah.
One and 2 the count on Anderson, who is 0 for 2. Good pitch.
Garrett has hit, really got off to a very slow start, and like I said, missed a lot of time early in the season, but after the All-Star break, just a shade under 300, 7 home runs, 8 doubles, and 22 RBIs. Joel's going to end his evening on a 70th pitch.
Strikeout of Garrett Anderson. Well, the big bats coming up for the Cardinals. Pujols, Holiday, and Ludwig. 1-0 Braves. By Infinity. Joel Pinheiro sharp again here tonight. The Cardinals behind him. They've turned 3 double plays. And a pitcher's duel on both sides. That's the only run of the game. Brian McCann. That was in the second inning.
There's Dale Murphy.
Your buddy, huh?
Oh yeah, Dale end up 398 home runs, if memory serves me right. Remember, went to Colorado, tried to get to 400, and even couldn't hit a home run out there in that light air.
Class on and off the field, huh?
Yes, really was. You know, I mean, outstanding individual.
Pujols tonight has struck out and popped out, and he'll try to tie it up. One swing of the bat. Big fan here, Larry Carlton. That's a Lodell.
Yeah, I never knew that Mr. Bush gave me 3 Clydesdales, that he wants to buy one.
It's a nice letter. Here's a 2-1.
Love the penmanship in some of these letters, don't you?
The 3-1 pitch, and Pujols pulls it left side off the glove of the third baseman, and Albert winds up at first.
It's an old baseball adage that you be aggressive. Don't let the ball play you. And here's a prime example why you don't back up on a ball. You back up on a ball, you never know what type of hop you're going to get. You come in, you can kind of set the tone, whether it's in between or not. But when you lay back, more times than not, something weird or something bad will happen.
It's an E5 on the play, so both teams have committed an error tonight. Here's Holiday. He has doubled and struck out his last time up. Oh, watch out. And that did hit him. Oh, boy.
Only not too happy right now is anytime the ball gets up, but watch this pitch. And right up there, he really did not move much, and it catches him on the hand. Really, you lift that leg. One thing bad about that is you can't start moving to get out of the way until you put the leg down. And see, he really laid in moving, tried to spin backwards, but catches him on the hand, and hopefully he's okay.
Chance now for Ludwig. First and second, nobody out.
Got to take advantage of it now.
Swing and a miss. And here comes a 1-1. 1-2.
Pitchers have pitching dominant games here, as it's been a very spacious strike zone. You know, a lot of times, and to me, that's on the corner, but many times we won't get those pitches called. And if you want to speed up game, which Major League Baseball always talks about, call strikes.
And a 1-2. You can see now we're in front of the left leg, the shin of Ryan Ludwig. He has a little protective gear, and last time up he fouled one off his shin. Also had a wrap there too. Two balls, two strikes. Outfield is deep.
A little interesting here on full count. Trailing by 1. Got an 11-game lead over the Cubs.
So do you send him?
You got a big body, you know, and now McCann will stand out here and set the defense. But Ryan Ludwig's pretty good sized body. Now he does strike out an awful lot. You got a strikeout pitcher out there tonight, but he's a big body. If they try to throw to third, that body will get in the way of a throw. But can run into a triple play. Do all kinds of things here, but you look great if you get a base hit.
And there's a double play. It hits Pujols.
Boy, Albert's just having a tough night.
And that turns into.
It's a dead ball. It's a dead ball. It's a base hit for Ludwig, but Albert is out.
So that turns into a tough play for the Cardinals, and really the Cardinals catch a break. If it doesn't hit Pujols, it's 6-4-3.
You know, we've seen times that Albert tries to screen somebody, but here it catches him. They're going to try and lobby for the triple play, but it's my understanding that it becomes a dead ball when it hits the runner.
And a base hit for the hitter.
Yeah, the base runner gets a base hit, but I mean, that's just the way it's been for years. I don't know what the argument can be. So, in essence, the Cardinals do catch a break. I think Bobby Cox is lobbying and said that he did it unintentionally because it would have been a double play at that rate. But here they only get one out, where that's what Bobby's saying is he did it intentionally, so to stay out of it at the minimum a double play.
Ball hit that sharply. That would be a real tough sell to do that. So it's 6 unassisted. You go to the player that it's closest to, and that's the shortstop in that position, and Ludwig picks up the base hit.
Albert has had a tough night.
And here's Colby with one out. Like we said, the Cardinals really do catch a break there. Instead of having a runner at third and 2 outs, it's first and second, just 1 out.
By Albert even slowing up, if it did miss him, they might have still gotten the out at third and at least gotten a double play.
And there's a base hit into right field. Holliday being waved in. Here comes a throw to the plate. He is out at the plate. He is out. Ryan Church throws out Holliday, and here comes Tony.
Well, watch Church, and he had to go a little bit to his left to get to this ball. Comes up firing a strike right there in front of it, and he's safe, no doubt about it. As the throw's right there, but that arm gets around him before the tag and hits home plate. I don't think there's any doubt looking at that first angle that he touched home plate ahead of the tag. Here you can't really tell. You can there too. I will say this: Andy Fletcher's angle should have shown whether he got there to the plate before it or not.
And now it's DeRosa.
There's this right there. I mean, it looks like he's safe all the way. And that's the closest view that he should see. Yeah, he tagged him on the arm, but it was after he touched home plate.
DeRosa pulls it to the third baseman. Backhanded. Prado takes a hit and 2 RBIs away. And some boos here at Busch Stadium. A couple of defensive plays, 6th inning, and Holiday gunned down by Church. His reaction, yep, we got 2 now. And then DeRosa robbed at third base in a fine play by Martin Prado.
Well, the Cardinals have shown that kind of defense, and I'm a little confused now as Pinheiro does stay in this game. So maybe Wellemeyer was just getting some side work, but a bit odd, right?
Yeah. It's easy to go back and you question so many of the things that happen in a baseball game, but if Pujols, and let's just say they go with the 6-4-3 double play, all of a sudden he scores easily on the base hit by Rasmus if he's standing at third.
Yes, he is. You know, last homestand, remember he screened the ball and end up into a 2-run error.
There's a high fly ball by McCann into center. 1 away. September 13th, this Sunday, is the Midwest Dairy Rick Ankiel Growth Chart Poster Day at Busch Stadium. All kids 15 and under receive a life-size growth chart poster of the Cardinals outfielder. For more information and to purchase tickets, go to stlcardinals.com.
Cardinals have stranded 7 in this game. Had a man thrown out at the plate in a 1-0 game, but kind of get the feelings that they're going to break through at some point. Might have to be against the bullpen. The Jurgens has no complete games this year.
Here's Escobar. He looks at his strike. Here we are, September 11th, and this weekend the St. Louis Blues, Eric Johnson and the Blues begin training camp.
They begin training camp, and the Rams play for real in Seattle on Sunday.
Right. There's a ground ball up the middle and a base hit. Base hit for Escobar. And of course, Fox Sports Midwest will have over 70 telecasts of the St. Louis Blues this season with Bernie Federico and John Kelly and Darren Pang. That's all coming up, and I can't wait. Eric Johnson is
right?
Yeah, Eric Johnson, a huge Cardinal fan. He's from Minnesota. the defenseman that was out last year with a knee injury, and he doesn't miss many games.
I was just going to say, what would a guy from Minnesota know about baseball?
That's a direct shot at our director, Tom Mee, who is from Minnesota.
Yeah, not to Eric, but no.
That's a base hit into right field. And LaRoche makes it now first and third with one out. And I think it's also nice to note that we have a fan mail for Jim Hayes up here. When Jim wants to come up, we'll make sure and give him that fan mail.
Absolutely. First that we know of here at the ballpark. And now Tony will go out and talk to Pinheiro. No one warming up. So maybe set the defense and send a little message to his team and infield in particular.
Blues are going to have a good year, Al.
I hope so.
They will have a good year.
Well, John Davidson back from his playing days, and wish the Blues nothing but success.
Cardinal fans, when it comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service. Go online to StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals, and the only site with Fan Protect guarantee.
Almost 44,000 here tonight.
Omar Infante. Infante had a bunt base hit, also reached on an error by Pujols. Runners had first and third with one out. Cardinals would love one more double play and get out of the top of the seventh.
One out. They've already turned 3 double plays. This would be a perfect time for their fourth. And they are among the league leaders, usually first or second in turning double plays. Sure. Dan, that's sometimes that's a reflection of a team turning so many double plays, is because your pitching staff isn't so good and you give up a ton of hits. But that's not the case for the Cardinals. It's just they throw a lot of ground ball outs, and like this inning, Pinheiro gives up 2 base hits, but both of them are ground balls that find a hole. But many times that third time will be right at a fielder.
1-0 pitch, here it comes. Instead of check on the runner at first, LaRoche. I hope you don't run into Eric Johnson. He's up to about 240 pounds now, Al, and in great shape. And I just heard what you had to say about all these guys from Minnesota.
We're just talking about our director, Tom Mee. He said he was exempt from the thought, but if he wants to get in fighting condition, I'll skip my happy pill.
No, I thought you did earlier today.
Oh, I mean, I went to great elementary school, Central Elementary School with Fredberg. Had a lot of fun with the kids out there, so I've taken extra happy pills.
Good, good. Here comes a 2-0 pitch. Brian Church is on deck. And a walk to Infante, so that'll load him up.
You know how rare that is for a walk by Pinheiro. He's the stingiest in the National League.
Well, you get Church here, and Church hit into a double play in the second and also flied out to left. Chipper Jones will be the pinch hitter here.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yep. What a dangerous bat coming off that bench right now for Bobby Cox, whether he's in a rut or not. Chipper Jones, switch hitter, and one of the great switch hitters ever in baseball history.
Out of respect, you have to really guard against him. On this road trip, he's 1 for 11.
Won the batting championship a year ago.
He's batted only 117. You go back to August 16th. 9 hits and 77 at bats. And prior to that, or this current drought, he was hitting .565 in 6 games. So career .308 hitter.
.364 last year. 128 games. And at .268 this year. Told me before he learned how to switch hit by watching the game of the week. And then that would dictate how he would practice with his dad that week.
You know, he was just, when I first met him, he was playing in the Sally League. And he was a all-star shortstop.
And Chipper pulls it to Pujols, who fires to the plate out there to first. Not in time, but they get that lead runner.
And Piñeiro's laying down there. We hope is to get out of the way of that return throw, but maybe it was Albert firing the ball home. He took a dive. Albert wasn't sure on that one either, was he?
No, he wasn't. Chipper Jones hits into this force play at the plate. By the way, he is signed through 2012, which would pretty much assure that he finishes his career wearing that Atlanta Braves uniform.
And Piñeiro gets down as he's going over to cover and almost gets drilled at both ends. You get one in the face, and then if the return throw gets him in the back of the head.
Here's Jurgens, and that's a foul. You talk about momentum in the game of baseball, and this could be a real nice swing for the Cardinals if they get out of it. Interesting here that Bobby Cox with 2 outs, bases loaded, is not pinch hit, but he likes what he sees from Jurgens. And as you said earlier, some of those guys in the bullpen have been used a lot.
Yeah, I think that's part of the scenario here, as he has more confidence in a tiring starter than going to some of the tired arms in the bullpen.
Cardinals will have Molina, Piñeiro's spot, and then Schumacher coming out.
Dennis Reyes is warming up. That would be for the on-deck hitter. Hopefully that's an inning from now. Paints the outside corner. Maybe a little bit outside, but boy, that's awfully close.
That was the pitch that Pujols was called out on. Got it. Time to stretch.
This is that pitch we thought it just almost looked like it's perfect, but it's a great 0-2 pitch. Didn't get the call, and then he finished it off with one right down the middle. Great sinker right there. Maybe that is a momentum changer, as Pinheiro does quite the job right there. He'll be batting right after Molina. And now Trevor Miller warming up in the bullpen. Reyes was up. You got McLeod, the first scheduled hitter, so we'll see what the wheels, how they're turning in this inning.
So here we go. Bottom of the 7th rolls in, 1-0 Atlanta.
And would it be just a deke, as hopefully Molina gets on there? You could have Pinheiro sacrifice him over, but Tony might also send up a pinch hitter.
Molina has singled tonight, also grounded out. Jurgens, pitch number 81. Here it is, upstairs. Always hear that word momentum in sports, and here in the game of baseball, a lot of times after bases loaded, one out, team doesn't score, it shifts back the other way.
No doubt about it. And Dan, that's why it's so important for the pitcher to go stop that momentum from really carrying it over to another dugout. And then we always talk about, a crushing victory or defeat, how the next day's momentum is only as good as the next day's starter.
And a 1-1. Yadier out to right center. Backing out McLeod in front of the track to make the catch. So how about Jurgens here tonight? The Cardinals with only 5 base hits, and Ricky Ankiel will be the pinch hitter. Now this is the spot that Tony La Russa recently was talking about with Ricky Ankiel, and that's it for Pinheiro. Nice outing for Joel with only 1 run allowed, but he really likes the way that Ankiel takes these at bats. As a pinch hitter, he is 6 for 18, couple of home runs and 3 RBIs, and a .232 batting mark this season.
A couple pinch hit home runs this season and 3 in his career. But he is 4 for his last pinch hitting, or 4 for his last 7 pinch hitting assignments with 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. So this may be the role that you'll see him in predominantly.
One ball, 1 strike.
Talked about how Jurgens going up and down and in and out, but particularly up and down. That pitch up is one that they can really use against Rick. And
Changeup that time.
Well, that's what we're talking about, that good feel with the changeup, and that changeup, if he keeps it down away, he'll get not only Rick but a lot of hitters.
Schumacher on deck, and here comes a 1-2 pitch. Couple of hops to the second baseman. 2 outs. Boy, this guy is tough, and he looked good in Atlanta too, you might remember.
Yes.
Very good tonight. Stay outside again. Tails over the middle of the plate, and Skip didn't like it. He thought it was a bit low. 0-2.
Fastball away.
1-2.
That's how you pitch. If you're pitching ahead in the count, and if you catch a breeze of that sign, you're just trying to make that perfect pitch down away or outside In other words, you just don't get beat with a pitch in the middle of the plate. There's a change up.
And got him, yep, to ground out to the second baseman. The Cardinals go quietly here in the bottom of the 7th. 1-0 Atlanta after 7. Be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Trevor Miller will come into the ball game. Gorgeous night here in St. Louis, and it's our Chevrolet call to the pen. Trevor Miller.
Great numbers for Trevor this season. We're happy that he got rewarded. Signed a deal last Tuesday, and he is now signed through 2011. And you see those numbers: 4-0, 12 holds, great ERA under 2. So the same thing with opponent's batting average, and left-handers average has creeped up a little bit, all the way up to 118. It was, so a week or so ago, it was under 100.
And really, both lefties have done a nice job against left-handed hitters.
Jason McClellan is starting to throw. You almost feel like you have to get Ryan Franklin in this game, as he hasn't pitched since last Sunday. He had the entire series off in Milwaukee and the off day yesterday. But you see what Nate has done.
And he gets him to reach for it. Popped up. And it's shallow right. Ludwig is there to make the catch.
Tony, looking at his lineup card, you got the right-hander Prado, and then the left-handed hitting Garrett Anderson. Prado 0 for 3 tonight, but he's saved this game with a great defensive play and saved 2 runs.
And Prado takes a ball or rather a strike at the knees. Martin Prado with 1 out and nobody on. Big gap into left center field. Strike 2.
Right, he's just a shade under 300 and really dominated against the left-handed batters. It's pretty much really your situational lefty, but you have a lefty on deck, so he gets Prado here.
And he is one of the nicest people in the game, as we have found out this year, Trevor Miller.
Yes, and 7 different major league organization, and You know, he just
on the inside corner and a strikeout.
had a very difficult family situation with a daughter who has a rare disease, but you know, he is a real professional and really a class act, isn't he?
Oh, he is.
There you go. He freezes a hitter. It's one of the toughest things, and you can be successful if you can get, you know, for a lefty, the ability to get inside on a right-hand hitter, a right-hander get inside on a lefty.
Here at Anderson, taps one foul. I was talking with Trevor the other day, and right before he signed the contract, he said, "I'd love to come back to St. Louis." I said, at that time, had they approached, he said, "No, I haven't heard anything, but that's the way my career has been. I pitch 1 year, and it's year by year." So I know he is thrilled to be back.
Based on what he's done this season, an integral part of that bullpen, it seemed like the right thing to do. And I always commend the front office when they can sign people up like Trevor and Franklin without us knowing.
Good work by Trevor Miller. Pujols and Holiday coming up. New left fielder is Reed Gurecki. And the Cardinals have Brendan Ryan, Albert Pujols, and Matt Holliday.
And bullpen activity for the Braves, a lefty and a righty. Moylan is the right-hander.
Derek Jeter, by the way, breaks Lou Gehrig's nearly 7-decade-long Yankee record for most hits. Does that tonight. Strike to Brendan Ryan, who is topped out. He is walked and also flied out.
Great storied franchise. They've never had, it's like 2,700 plus, right?
2,722.
So never had anybody over 2,750.
It's hard to believe.
I think, yeah, it really is. But Derek Jeter isn't going to stop there.
Nope. 3,000 and beyond, you would think.
And that was Lou Gehrig he broke, right?
Correct.
So Gehrig would have.
Yes.
This has got to be the inning right now. Still only 94 pitches thrown by Atlanta starter.
A 2-1 pitch to Brendan. .94 pitches tonight for this right-hander. Lots of room in the left center field.
By the way, Lee Gurecki was a Springfield Cardinal and a Texas League All-Star.
Brendan reaches for it into shallow right, base hit. Someone on now for Pujols and Holiday coming up.
See him reach out there and off balance, but gets rewarded with a base hit. Went on base twice with a base hit and a walk. And important to be ahead of Albert Pujols. It's been a tough night for Albert, and we can't say that many times. 0 for 3, and he's committed 2 errors.
And Pujols is sitting on 47 home runs.
And remember, he also, last time up out of second base, was hit by a ground ball. Runners at first and second, but in some ways it turned into a good play because it was definitely at the very least a double play. But as you also mentioned, if he got by him, he ends up at third and then scores.
Ryan is running, and the pitch is fouled into the seats. We saw Ryan run against Milwaukee, and Tony La Russa did not like that, but get the feeling there may be a hit and run.
Well, you know, the way I understand it, it's kind of still a confusing situation. They say you only run when Tony puts the run on. It wasn't the run that they were upset about. I guess it was that his mind was wandering, whether he tried to give him the sign earlier, and this is all a change with Holiday's protection behind it. But I think it's also, you know, when you kind of look at this, one of those rare nights that Pujols really is not, you know, himself, and this guy gets a fair share of ground balls, so you don't want to turn it into a double play. Ryan, with that good speed, he might get out there anyway.
Jurgens got through the 8th inning just once this year and ended up losing that game. Clinging right now to a 1-run lead, and Pujols represents the potential go-ahead run at the plate.
New runs would be a premium in this game, but we thought the Cardinals would break through.
Still throwing hard, 95.
And Albert pulling off a fastball. 98 pitches. Jurgens has been getting away with very good stuff. But as you say, that's a telling stat that he's only gone to the 8th inning one time and he lost that game.
Outfield deep for Pujols, and he strikes out. So Jurgens gets the strikeout of Albert Pujols. What a night he has had.
Time since we've seen Albert have an off day like this. Only get reminded that he's human, isn't it?
Right.
And quick throw over there is Dave McKay was saying, do not get picked off as the tying run. They are deep. And out to talk to his pitcher. They're very deep in the outfield. They shade Holiday just slightly to right field. So a big gap out in left center.
Well, you worry certainly about Brendan Ryan, but you also have to worry obviously about the guy at the plate. Focus on him. Matt Holiday.
Usually you can see when a pitcher worries so much about a base runner, he suffers, or his stuff suffers, going to the plate.
And the ball scoots away. And was it a foul tip? They're going to say yes. I'm not sure he did.
I think.
I don't think he got a piece of it.
I agree with you, but we may be the minority. home plate umpire said he fouled the pitch off earlier that didn't look like it to us with the rate play.
First time in Albert's career, by the way, 2 strikeouts and 2 errors in the same game.
McClellan continues to warm up.
1 ball, 1 strike. We have seen Chipper Jones in this game did not start. So that bat eliminated if you're thinking about it. There's actually been talk that Chipper might retire after next season. He said he had a season like this where he struggled defensively and hasn't hit the way that he'd like, that maybe he'd walk away from a contract that pays him nearly $42 million through 2012.
I've always had great respect for Chipper, and that's the respect he has for the game. If he can't play up to a certain standard, it doesn't matter if he has a contract or not. And you know, we can't. Only he can determine that. But if he chose to walk away from the game, we would all applaud it for those reasons.
Yep.
Now, if he's still healthy and still feels he can play at a high level, I'm a fan of his and like to see him continue.
1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Holiday, high fly ball, out to deep left, on the track, and that'll be caught. Just missed it, and now Brennan has to hurry up. Retraces steps back to first. He just missed it.
I just kind of had that feeling, as high as it was, but you just felt like it wasn't going to go far enough. And a guy like Holiday usually, and I was watching the flight of the ball, I didn't see him, but I'm sure he realized it. As that ball sitting up there, look, it totally missed the location. I bet Holiday kind of, you know, always hustles and runs it out, but I think he knew that it wasn't going. And a lot of those fans were trying to push it the extra 5 feet.
Pitch count over 100 now for this right-hander, and Ludwig 2 for 3 with a couple of singles.
It was Friday night when he had his 5 for 5 and 5 RBI game. What's he going to do this Friday? Already got 2 hits. This is the at-bat you're going to remember right now.
Runner goes, pitch is taken, and saved is Brendan Ryan. Wow. McCann thought he had him. And I'm sure inside that Braves dugout they thought they had him too.
That's Ted Barrett out there, and you got to give him some credit that he stayed with the play, because it looked like he was going to be out. Arm gets down, and then he does a good job of hanging on to the bag. Looks like that's what Barrett was looking for, to see if he slides and can't stay and maintain contact. And he stayed on the bag. Of course, the glove was nowhere near it, so even if he came off, he would have gotten back.
Base hit could tie it up. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ludwig.
Pitch up and in a little bit, and not often called a strike, but it was.
A couple of base hits for Ludwig, including the one that hit Pujols when he was running on the bases. So dead ball, and Ludwig awarded with a base hit. Here comes a 1-1. Little grounder hit to short. Throw right on the money, and it's 1-0 after 8. Jurgens masterful here tonight at Busch Stadium.
go to the 9th inning. Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of U.S. Cellular Cardinals Live, Pat Paris and Rick Horton are at Lumiere Place. A Freaky Friday. They'll be looking at some of the odd plays we've seen tonight. Not one, but two Kings of the Hill tonight, plus Tony TV. It's all coming up after the game. For now, it's back to Dan and Al, guys.
All right, Jim, thanks. And here's Brian McCann. McCann against Trevor Miller, and Miller, his second inning of work. He'll face McCann here, and then we'll see what move Tony wants to make.
He'll go to his bullpen as Kyle McClellan is warming up again. So get the lefty out and set up for your right-hander. And a big comeback in the bottom of the 9th.
McCann now having to wear glasses. That changed earlier this year, you might remember. His eyesight, and had to get checked, and
had the LASIK,
yep,
what, 2 years ago, and really had some problems with it.
1 ball, 1 strike. McCann with a single tonight, back in the 2nd inning. Walked in the 4th and flied out to center in the 7th.
And Brian's been a 4-time All-Star now. 4th consecutive year.
2-1. And he pops it up on the infield. Pujols over, makes the catch. How about the job of Trevor Miller here tonight?
He's faced 4 batters, retired all 4, striking out a pair, and his night is through. So excellent job once again. Kyle might beat Tony to the mound.
And here he comes, Kyle McClellan, the right-hander, in our Chevy call to the bullpen. He was used a couple of times in Milwaukee. Off day yesterday, so we'll see Kyle here tonight. It's 1-0 in the top of the 9th.
RBI in the run of this game, and there by Albert with the runners at 2nd and 3rd, and that's been the offense in this one as Kyle McClellan will take over here. There's 1 out in the top of the 9th inning, nobody on. Kyle has been pitching excellent of late, picked up his 3rd save with a perfect 9th inning on Tuesday night, and you see those numbers: 4-3, 14 holds, ERA right at 3. And if anything, you know, one thing he'd like to cut down is the walks. But I'm sure he's aware of it. He has excellent stuff in his sophomore season. He was the Cardinals Rookie of the Year last year. St. Louis native, and he's not getting the call that apparently was a little low. And as soon as we talk about walks, he's 3-0 on the first batter. Escobar is 2 for 3 on the night. Right down the middle. They love his defense. Still a young player, batting .300, 14 home runs, 66 RBIs. And runs the count full. Kyle last year, as I mentioned, was the Cardinals Rookie of the Year. And one of the player reps really has respect of all of his teammates. When Ryan Franklin was out, he got a chance at saving that game and was perfect on Tuesday night. For the payoff pitch, foul ball, will do it again. Atlanta has their 1 run on 5 hits. There have been 2 errors by the Cardinals, both by Albert Pujols. How rare is that? And St. Louis, no runs as 6 hits. And Atlanta has committed 2 errors. Set up outside and out to central. Kobe sees the line drive and flags it down.
So 2 outs here in the 9th, and it brings in Adam LaRoche.
They've been really happy with him. And
second time with him, too.
Yeah, and he's hit .326 since coming Boston to Boston. Pittsburgh to Boston to back to Atlanta. 9 home runs, 22 RBIs. He's 1 for 3 in the night. Struck out the first 2 times.
In the dirt. Chicago over Cincinnati 6-4. Phillies over the Mets 4-2. And Washington over Florida 5-3. Boston and Tampa Bay postponed. LaRoche hits it sharply past Pujols and into right field. So a 2-out base hit to extend the top of the 9th. Looking ahead, the Cardinals will have Rasmus, DeRosa, and Molina coming up. Phillies, one of their big concerns right now, undoubtedly, Brad Lidge, their closer, and what to do with him.
He's blown 10 saves this year after last year being perfect in all saves opportunities. He came through the other day. Charlie Manuel set him down and had a talk, and then when he brought in Matson for the save opportunity. They got a couple pitchers that are, ailing a little bit too. Didn't Happ out of there for a while?
Yep. Hamels tonight, their starter, allowed 1 run and struck out 6 in 6 2/3. Brent Myers came in for the 8th, and Ryan Madson picked up the save with a scoreless night. You wonder if you're Charlie Manuel, if it's one of those things where you say, all right, Matson's our guy to finish up 09 and then regroup in spring training of 2010 with Brad Lidge. Or do you try to get him right before postseason play gets here?
I think you try to do a little bit of both.
Yeah, probably right.
And McClellan falling behind again, 3-0. Keep this a 1-0 game, and you feel like you got a chance.
You talk about appearances for Ryan Franklin. I think the same has to be said with Kyle McClellan. You have to make sure you watch those down the final 3 weeks to see how many he would wind up getting. As he said last year, September, he was physically and mentally fried.
Well, 2 things would happen to him last year. He never pitched in September, and remember, he kind of bypassed AAA, had almost 2 years absent due to injury. So he really was overused. They're much more conservative with him this year and keep a closer eye on it. Soriano is warming up. Boggs is in the Cardinal bullpen. And Dave Duncan's going to come out. As Dave Duncan preaching first pitch strikes, and Kyle has not been able to do that. And Reyes starts warming up along with Boggs. I just think that you've got to stay with McClellan unless they score another run or 2. You may go to Denny's Reyes for somebody, but
and through everything that's happened tonight, Pinheiro really pitched a nice ball game.
Yes, and I mean, in 7 innings where he allowed 5 hits, reminiscent of why he has 9 losses, because we've talked about his lack of run support. Both these pitchers have been victimized by poor run support.
Breaking ball and a strike. It's 2 outs with 2 on, and that is a big run out there at second base.
This is Matt Diaz, who went in for defense, but he is a premier pinch hitter deluxe. Not a pinch hitting role, but his first plate appearance.
Another breaking ball. 0-2.
Now you're in a good position because this guy is a good hitter, but when you're in ahead in the count, it really he's playing the guessing game now. Set up inside,
and he strikes him out. So here we go. Bottom of the 9th, and Colby Rasmus leads it off when we return. One run back in the second. Again, want to remind you folks that tomorrow we've got the Missouri pay-per-view on Fox Sports Midwest, $29.95. You can access your digital program guide or call your local pay-per-view provider to order. That's the pay-per-view, Bowling Green and Mizzou tomorrow. Rafael Soriano into the ball game. He's 22 of 26 in these spots, and opponents hitting under 200 against him.
And Dan, here's another one of these guys that appearing for the 66th time. He's a little tired. And one of the ways you might look at that is he allowed just 1 home run in his first 45 games and has allowed 4 home runs in his last 20. Still has a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. His last 14 games, his ERA is pushing 5. But when he is rested and on, he's outstanding.
Rasmus showing bunt and takes a strike. Colby has struck out tonight. He's grounded out, and last time up into 6th, he singled.
The strike zone has been one of the bigger strike zones we've seen in a long time. It's been the same for both sides, but
0-1. There's a good example of what you're talking about.
I think the first 2 pitches, that more times than not, those are not called strikes, but tonight they are, and Andy Fletcher is the man calling balls and strikes. You're a pitcher, take advantage of it. Work the outside, inside, up and down.
0-2. And with that strike zone,
exactly,
Rasmus has to chase that pitch outside, and swings and misses.
You're exactly right. And Escobar makes a real good pitch out there, but the hitter feels like he's forced to swing at a pitch that in his mind he knows the ball, because the first 2 were called in a similar fashion.
DeRosa was robbed his last time up. One of the plays of the game by Martin Prado. Third baseman took a hit and 2 RBIs away. Ground out to short. 2 outs. And let's take a look at our player of the game presented by Budweiser. Jair Jurgens, 8 innings, 6 hits, couple of walks, and he strikes out 7, and he was terrific.
He really was. He really set the tone. Remember the other day, Cardinals were trailing by 3, and I had a feeling they would come back and win that ball game. Never made that prediction in this ball game, and I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I was waiting for your bold prediction.
Well, I mean, I was honest in my assessment, and I'm honest in this one too.
That's strike 1 on Yadier Molina.
And I'd love to be proved wrong.
Molina has grounded out, singled, and flied out. Final hope for the Cardinals. No balls and 2 strikes.
Soriano started his professional career as a position player. 3 years.
And Yadi hits it out to right, and that'll stay in the ballpark. The Cardinals lose a tough one tonight, 1-0. Post-game show coming up. Bobby Cox and the Braves take game 1, 1-0.